everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge at the Feazell Farm on Donna Nell Lane. Again, thank you so much for watching every day, beginning at 1 o'clock Central Time, as I get to ride home with you and share some fun times. You can find us a number of different ways. You can go to the website, iacradio.media. You can also find us on television, two different ways, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Oh boy, I love Christmas, but I also love this time of the year. And so we're going to plant some seeds today. I've come up with a different way. The old traditional way in the greenhouse, I'm still going to do those, but I found a new way, and this is through hydroponic. It's a growth pipe. And I'm going to show that to you in just a few minutes. And this is going to be a little bit longer show than what I typically have when I'm here by myself. But this is going to be like pretty detailed. And I think this is going to be a really good way because I've been kind of playing around with hydroponics anyway for quite a while. This is the bottom of a cabbage. So what I did is I cut that off, and I've done several of these just to kind of play around with it and see if I like it, and I do. I've got one planted in a big pot right now, but this one's just about ready to be potted. So as you can see, get some of the excess water off. Now it's shallow water is what you put it in, and you also need to, like every day or so, you need to go ahead and clean that water off and put fresh water right there. And I think that's probably the secret. So here we go. I'm going to put this up so you can see just a little bit closer what it looks like. There are a bunch of little cabbages that are growing out of this thing that most people just throw away. I had been just giving this to the chickens. So a friend of mine told me about this, actually Cheryl Baker. And so thanks, Cheryl, for the tip. So this is really good. And there, out of this one cabbage, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 7 cabbages are going to come out of this core. Okay, so it's worth keeping. Just throw it in water. You're just throwing money away if you don't do that, unless you're going to feed your chickens with it. Here's one that I got on Sunday. And so I bought this cabbage here on Sunday. And so this is what this one looks like. So you can see little cabbages are already growing out of it. Now this one's about a week old. This one's just a few days old. So then potatoes, and so I'm kind of playing around with potatoes, and it looks like it's going to work with that too. And you can see the little eyes coming out. They've got bigger, and you can also see some kind of little roots or something are growing there. And onions. So I've got the bottom of several onions. And again, instead of throwing it away, giving it to the chickens, now let the chickens have the other part of it. So here we go. Boy, that onion smells kind of strong right now. If you could smell it right now, you'd think I'm making onion stew. So I'll show you this one as well. See the roots coming out of it? So there you go. Now again, the trick to this, and this is hydroponics, okay? But we're doing it on a bigger scale. So I had my new toy come in. It cost about $100 and worth it. By the way, check out Amazon. And so Amazon is one of our new sponsors. We're going to start showing some commercials on that soon. So let's go ahead and start talking about this. Now, what I want to talk to you about first, though, is seeds. Now, I found these seeds. Right here they are. These have a little coating on them. And it's just a little bit easier when you're planting these because they have a coating on them. Now, this is some sage right here. I love my sage. And so if you can see, it's going to be kind of hard to show you even at this point. It's bigger than a typical seed would be with sage. And there's this little coating on it. And these are heirlooms, by the way. But I like these because they're easier. You can see them, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, now with this hydroponic system comes these little cups. And I'll show you the system in just a few minutes. As a matter of fact, you're going to hear water running in just a few minutes. And it's like a cycle. And the way it's made, it'll make sense in just a few minutes when I show you what it looks like. So these are little cups. Now what you do with the little cups, what came with the system are these things right here. They're kind of like a foamy, styrofoamy looking something. So what you would do typically, you put it in water and you got to let it get saturated with water, and it's got a little hole right there, see, and that's where the seed goes. So when you plant in ground, when you plant in use your soil or whatever planting, you got to make sure you cover that seed up. Well, not with these. Okay, but I found something better. And then again, you would just put it in the cup, and then you would set the little cup down inside the system. And I want to show you how to do that in just a few minutes. Now the coated seed you saw just a few minutes ago, and then you can see the difference between the coated seed and then these are kale seeds. See how tiny, you can't even see it. See how tiny that is? So we're going to plant some kale as well. Now, I got off on another tangent, so let's go ahead and show this to you. I'll let you see this right here. This is what came with the system. Now, something else you can get, and this is called rock wool tubes. Rock wool tubes. And so they come in this big pack. They cost about 20 bucks or so. I wound up getting a much better deal than this. But these are little cubes. And so what you do with the little cubes is wool, and it kind of looks, it looks like this. Now you don't have to use the whole one. I've seen that you could actually cut these in half, put the seed in it. It's got to be in water. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I've got one of my Corel, and this is like a big thing right here, and this is full of water. This is full of those little cubes, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do it in just a few minutes, but let's look at this. So this is something else I found right here. And this is just kind of another variety of it. These are already planted. Now this is savory, and it sprouts. I've got more, and this has been in the water for quite a while. I've got thyme. Man, I love my herbs. Italian parsley right there. And this one is basil. Put the little top back on it. And then this one right here is mint. Now be careful with mint. You need to keep mint in a pot. So I'm just going to tell you, mint will take over your entire yard. I tried some chocolate mint one time. It took me forever to get it all out of the yard. And this is oregano. Okay, so we're gonna put these inside the little pod right here. Now another thing you want to do when you have your seeds, I'll put this right here. You need to make sure you keep good records, because what's going to happen, you think, oh, I'm going to remember exactly where I put the tomato seeds. And see, I've got like several different types of tomato seeds. And that's not going to happen. You're not going to remember exactly everything, okay? I don't care how brainy you think you are. You're not going to remember it all. So what I like to do, I have these little sheets right here. And I've got my ink pen. So what I'm going to do is, as I'm planting these little seeds right here, I'm going to put down like the type tomato that I'm going to have. So let's just talk about what we're going to plant. Okay, first of all, we have bees outside. We have trees. We have fruit trees and stuff all over the place. But I'm going to, this is what I found from the bees last year. They love to pollinate, and they love marigolds, and I love marigolds too. So this is like a match made in heaven. So I'm going to plant those. We'll have some marigold seeds. And then also, there's my lavender. I've never planted lavender before. Now I have the plants, but I'm kind of wanting almost a lavender field. I'm going to plant several of these. So I'll go ahead and plant the seeds and put those in my little hydroponics pipes as well. Now you can make your own, but there's the way that this is designed, it has little stoppers in it, and I'll explain that to you a little bit later. But anyway, so those are the two of the flowers for right now. I'm going to be planting more. But anyway, this is what I'm going to plant right now. Now, we've talked about the seeds that are coated. So I love sage. I put sage in everything. And and I actually have sage that'll be coming up anyway this next year, or this summer. But I like to plant new ones. And what I think I'm going to do, we're out here on a farm, I think I'm going to just plant herbs, dry them, and sell them. I think that's what I'm going to do. And so anyway, these are coated, so I'm going to plant some of these. These are the sage. And by the way, it has a little thing of a little kit. This is kind of like a kit. And so it has a little thing of Miracle Grow that you'll use as plant food. Now, when you put the seeds into the system, the first few days, you don't put a feed in it at all. And again, I'm going to show you how it looks in just a few minutes. So what we're going to do is just plant the seeds, and I'm going to put it in this rock wool, and we're going to see how that works. And I'm going to keep you motivated, okay? And I'm also going to keep you aware of how this turns out. Okay, so these are the coated seeds. So we've got sage, the lavender. I let you see that just a few minutes ago. This is dill. I use a lot of dill, and I use dill in almost everything. And I like the dill seed. I save the dill seed, and that's what I put in my slaw, the dill seed. Okay, chives. I love chives. And I have a bunch of them too, but I'm just going to go ahead and plant these. I want to see how they turn out because I've never had coated seeds before, but we're going to try it. And then this is culinary basil. I love basil. Any kind of tomato product, you're going to love your basil. As a matter of fact, I think I have a little guide chart right here that tells us what everything is and what it does. And by the way, keep good notes. Loretta Rogers, a friend of mine, and she has made me these little books, and they're like little diaries. And so I like to write into the diary what I plant, when I plant, why I planted it, the whole works, okay? So I can go back on it and look at it next year and see what I might need to change. Rosemary is good for your memory, so I'm going to like practically take baths in this stuff once I get that ready. But it's great for cooking as well. I put rosemary in a lot of stuff, a lot of our food. Okay, this is garden thyme. And again, these are coated seeds, so they're going to be just a little bit easier to put into the rock wool. Rock wool, by the way, is wool, so I'm coughing with this asthma. Oregano, love oregano and everything as well. And all of these herbs are so good for you. Cilantro, so we're going to plant some of that. I've already opened them up, so I wanted to see what they look like a little kid at Christmas time. And then this is triple curled parsley. I like triple curled parsley, especially when I'm making salads, because it kind of gives the parsley kind of holds on to whatever dressing you're using in the salad. So I really do like it for that. And it's good when you're cooking as well. Okay, so that takes care of the herbs. So we're going to be planting those. We got the flower seeds we're going to plant. Okay, peanuts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get these sprouted inside the system as well. Once they start, they got their root system going, I'm going to plant these in the concrete blocks. And I'm anxious to see how that turns out. My granddad used to plant, and by the way, did you know peanuts are part of the bean family? They're not a nut. Yeah, Brian Brown told me about that the last time he was on the show. So I've got peanuts. We're going to put those in there. We're going to see how those come out and how they seed. And then we're going to plant beans. So I like these purple hulls, the browns. So we're going to put those in. Now the purple hulls, any kind of bean, what you need to do is get a knife or something and need to kind of scrape it just a little bit, the bean part right there. And that just helps it to come up a lot quicker. It doesn't have to break anything is the way I like to explain it. Okay, I've got limas that we're going to plant. These lima beans right here. Those are going to be awesome. And pinto beans. Boy, I planted a bunch of these things last year. Now with my beans, what I like to do is let them dry on the vine. And so they're going to dry, and then what I'll do, and it kind of saves space too in the pantry. So I'm not going to can them. So we'll just dry them. And then what I'll do is put them in bags, and then we'll have to get them, make sure they're completely dry when you do this, okay? And because if there's any dampness at all to these beans, when you put them up, they're going to mold. So make sure you dry them really well. But I let them dry on the vine. If it has been raining, I wait a few days before I take it off. Oh, and by the way, it's so much quicker this way because it's not so hard to break the beans out of the pods. So anyway, that's the way I like to do that. Okay, there's my beans, including the peanuts. Now, oh, broccoli. I love broccoli. So I'm going to plant some broccoli seeds as well. And by the way, always look for the expiration dates. However, if you'll keep them in the freezer, They will last decades. I actually have bean seeds that my granddad had, and my granddad passed away in the year 2000. And okay, now here are the different tomatoes. I love these. I planted some of these last year. They're the Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes right there. Non-GMO, that's something else you always want to do. Okay, here are some yellow tomato seeds that I actually saved last year, or actually saved them 2 years ago. And you always want to put the date. This is 2022 when I did this particular batch. And I like to plant mine in paper towels, or not plant them. I like to put them in paper towels, and look at that. It's going to be enough seeds for who knows how many plants. So there are the yellow tomatoes. And by the way, these yellow tomatoes right here make the absolute best tomato sandwiches. Or if you want to cook with them, they make really good sauces as well. I like them. Again, they're really meaty-like, so I like those. Okay, Mr. Chandler gave these to me back in 2016, right here. I have been in love with these purple tomatoes, and they're heirlooms, and I'm always saving a bunch of seeds anyway, but this is the first batch that I actually got, and again, it came from Mr. Chandler, who lives right here in Geraldine. Okay, he was on my show one day, the year 2016. We were actually going out in the yard, and he was pulling up dandelions and all kinds of things that you could eat, and he kept saying, you could be eating this stuff. And I said, grass? And he said, no, dandelions, and there's some things that grow out in the yard you actually can't eat. Do research, though, because you could eat something that's not good for you. Okay, I'm going to plant some Roma tomatoes. I love Roma. Roma tomatoes are, so this is why, because these seeds look almost the same. That's why you need to label everything, okay, so that you'll remember. Like this year, I want to plant more Romas because I'm going to be doing a lot of sauces and salsa and stuff like that when I'm canning this year. So anyway, there you go. They're all labeled, so I'm going to know how many I want to plant. Okay, and then last but not least are the beef steak. You need to go ahead and buy your seeds now because seeds have really went up in price if you haven't already done so. I wish you had done it like when I was buying mine because I got them when they were at a much, much better price. But anyway, here are the beef steak, and I'm really excited about these. Yeah, that's going to be a whole lot of, these are great old big beefy tomatoes. I love them. Okay, now we've talked about the different seeds I'm going to plant. Oh, right here. Banana peppers. These are Phil's favorite. He loves banana peppers. Now, this is what I had done in the past. When I knew I was going to be planting, and by the way, you're listening to the water dripping in this little irrigation system right now. It almost sounds like a waterfall or something. I really like the sound. So, and by the way, you're using a lot less water when you're doing this as well. Okay, so we're going to have these ready. So what I had done in the past for seeds, started in the greenhouse, and what I'll do is put, moisten a paper towel and then put the seeds in a paper towel like overnight. Then I would go out and start planting the seeds. I'm not going to have to do that anymore, okay, because this is just such a cool way to do this. All right, now what I'm going to do, let's move a few things out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and start with the herbs, I think. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm going ahead and put these out of the way. Pretty soon we're going to be going into a commercial break. As a matter of fact, we need to go into a commercial break right now. It's already time to go into a commercial break. This is what happens when I'm watching you. So let's go ahead and get ready for a commercial, and we shall return in just a few minutes. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales look forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Fort Payne and Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by the locations in Fort Payne and Gadsden. We sincerely look forward to serving you. Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Okay, we're back. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge. Thank you again so much for watching. Every day, Monday through Friday, we're having fun right now with seeds. And I'm so excited about this. I really am. Okay, and I promised you that when we came back from a commercial break, that we are definitely going to go and show you what the system looks like. So I'm going to kind of think I might be just a little bit loud, so I turned myself down just a little bit. Do you hear my rooster out there? He thinks he's all that and about 10 different bags of chips. So here we go. I'm going to get the camera and let's go ahead and show you what this thing looks like. Okay, first of all, make sure I don't tear something up. As you're looking at the system right here, okay? And this is what it looks like. There's the water is dripping down right there. And I went on ahead and put some of my other plants down here on the bottom. Now, normally, we've had a lot of sun, so I went on ahead and closed this curtain for right now. But I will keep this curtain wide open. This is in front of my sliding glass window, which is pretty cool. You can see the farm out there. There's the look. There's my blocks. See all those concrete blocks out there? We're going to have a huge garden this year. There's the pond. The bees are just right out there too. Now they're staying kind of to themselves. It's been cold weather, and so they just, you hear my dog. He knows I'm right here at the sliding glass window. Put him in his pen so he wouldn't jump up here on the porch and try to talk to us. Okay, so how does this system work? See, even the roosters are really spoiled in this house. It's kind of crazy. All right, now this is the way it works. So there is the pump. You can see it right down there. And you can see how it's dripping water down there. And what happens, you can see the very top right up here to this irrigation system. Now, if Phil put this together, I wouldn't have a clue how to do it. So anyway, you've got to have a husband who's as into it as you are. And he is. He says he likes eating all this good stuff. Okay, so I have, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 12 of these PVC pipes right here. And then there are holes right here. There's no water in it now. It's already dripped down in here. Okay, there's a little bit of water. I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyway, there's some water right there. Oh, by the way, before I forget, there's the other cabbage coming up. Isn't that something? A cabbage? Okay, so water actually begins up here. So it comes down from this irrigation system. It goes all the way up here, and then it starts going into these pipes. And so what it'll do is he'll go like from this one, and there's a stopper right here. So what it does is it goes here, and then it goes here. Oh, I'm sorry, I told you wrong. It goes here, then it goes all the way here, and then it goes down this way. And then it goes down this pipe, and see what it'll do. It continuously, it's like it's just like a recycle kind of a thing. So what it'll do is it'll go from these pipes down to this one, and then it unloads from here. That way your seeds are not just sitting in water, but they stay moist. There's a timer on it. The recommended timer is like once every 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Okay, so then it goes from these pipes down into these, and then it goes into these pipes. Then it goes right down here into my bucket. See my big bucket right there? So that water is what's going to keep it all irrigated. Now, the recommendation is that you change the water out about once every, at least once a week. But then I saw this other guy I was talking about his, and he said he likes to change his out about every 3-4 days. Okay, now remember I told you guys about these little pods right here. Okay, here's some parsley. And just to kind of give you an idea, I'm going to have the lettuces up here because they're going to grow taller. I'll remove that curtain right there so they'll get more sun. So I want the lettuces to stay here because I'm not going to put them outside. Okay, because we have, our weather here in Alabama is just too humid. It's just way too hot. So all of the lettuces are going to be here. Okay, and some of the herbs grow up pretty big too, but I'm going to go ahead and put the herbs on this one. Beans are going to go here, and probably also some tomatoes, and then I'll be putting more things out here throughout the season, but all through the season we'll have our lettuces and kale and that kind of thing up in these two. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, this is the Italian parsley. I'm just going to set it right in there. Okay, and it's already labeled, so I'm not going to worry about labeling him. Okay, and then here's some basil. I'll go ahead and put this basil in here. I'm not sure you can see me or not, but anyway, there's the basil. I'll still, because as they grow, these little things are going to come off. So the labels, I've got these little neat oval labels, and I'll put them right here. That way I can keep a really good idea on what I've put here. Okay. Now let's go ahead and show this one to you. This one's the mint right here. So I'm going to place him in there. And then I've got thyme. And again, thyme is so good for you. So the thyme is, I was afraid these might be too tall, but they're not. And by the way, I would never have something like this and put it on directly on carpet. This is in great shape. Phil put it together. Had I been the one put it together, it would be leaking like crazy by now, I'm sure. Okay, so this is savory right here. I'll put this one right here. Oh, yeah, see, it's already, water is already coming up. I don't know if you can see, but anyway, water right there, see? Right there. Okay, then here is my oregano. So let's go ahead and put those right there. Okay, so we've already started right here. Man, I can't wait to see what this looks like. Okay, let's go ahead and turn around now. You're in my dining room, by the way. Oh, by the way, this light fixture, it may be too bright for you to see. It's a pineapple. And so Phil got this light fixture for me. I think it was our 8th wedding anniversary. Okay, so I've got my camera back here. And so we're ready to start working on some seeds. Yay! So I'm so excited about this. Okay, now parsley is this one right here. By the way, here are my little labels. And so I'm going to use a Sharpie, okay? So let's go ahead and jot down the parsley. I hope I'm not boring you, but I just want you to see what I do, okay? Parsley. Okay, and then my next one is going to be the cilantro. Cilantro. Okay, that'll be the second one. And then oregano. I know this seems like, oh man, I gotta do labels and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna pay off. You'll be glad you did it when you do that. Okay, and then thyme. Okay, and thyme is so good to put in your herbs and things. And I'll tell you something else I like to do. I like to make teas out of my herbs. And like rosemary tea is really good. And again, rosemary is real good for the brain. Okay, it'll help you kind of keep your thoughts together. And I have to. With running a radio station, a farm, the show, all the stuff we got going on, church, all those things that are happening, man, you got to keep it together. And I don't want to take like pills and stuff like that. I hardly ever take an aspirin for a headache. So the natural way is the best way, I think. Okay, now let's go ahead and drop down the basil, B-A-S-I-L. And again, these are the coated ones. Chives. I like to dry all of these, and I love fresh chives as well. Dill, gotta have some dill now for those dill pickles. We'll probably have oh, I forgot to get some cucumber seeds. I gotta get some cucumber seeds out too. Okay, sage. I'm gonna put a little note right here, cucumber, and I'll do that after the show today. Okay, and then there's my sage. All right, so let's go ahead. We got my labels are right here. So I've got them ready. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've just found a little pot right here. And so we got these. And what we're going to do is just stand them right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it'll be 9. I'm probably going to do double, okay, because I'll be giving, I'm pretty sure I'll have some friends who are going to want me to give them some plants. So here we go. Now these will be reusable, okay, so be careful with them, but they are reusable. Okay, so that's 9, right? So I need 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. There's Buddy. He likes to get started. He gets jealous when I get on the air because he knows I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to you. All right. Okay, there's 9 of them, so we need 18 of these. All right, now let's go ahead and get this rock wool. Okay, so this is going to be the sage one. So we're going ahead and get a couple of these. Now again, these are the coated ones. Oops, there went a seed. I don't want to waste any seeds at all. All right, there's the sage. And we'll get 2 of those. And it's just kind of like this little green coating on it. And again, they're easier to handle than a tiny, tiny little seed. Okay, so I've got my rock wool. And again, I cut them in pieces. Now, you don't want it to be drenching wet, but you do want it to be moist, okay? I think I hear Phil out there talking with Buddy. Do you think they're having a good discussion? Probably not. All right. All right. So you want it to be kind of like that, okay? All right. And then you're going to be able to see the roots coming up. It gives you like a really good root system. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. And let's go ahead and put our sage right there. Okay. All right, so there's the two sage ones. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to step over here, and as we go, I'll step over. We're going into a commercial break in just a few minutes. But I don't want these things to get mixed up, so I'll be right back. That easy. All right, that takes care of sage. So I'm going to put that right there so we can get a few things out of the way because it's going to get kind of cluttered over here. Okay, let's see. That was the sage. Now let's go ahead and do some dill. And the way dill looks, I'm really glad to have. Now I have dill that comes up every single year. Just volunteer, which is good. So I really don't have to do this, but I have some friends who want some sage. Who want some of the dill. So I'm going to go on ahead and get that ready for them. Okay. And again, farming is a really awesome thing. I'm going to keep my little dill thing right up there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab another one of these rock wool cube. Okay. And we'll put another seed. Again, these are my dill. And I'll put them down into this as well. And let's grab another one. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit thicker on this one. We're just going to see, because one guy told me that, he said, you know, when I do mine, I cut mine in half. He said it's something you don't have to do, but he said it just kind of saves, because these rock wools are just, they're a little bit expensive. So they actually come with a hole. I'm going to grab another one and put it in there. That just seems like that's not thick enough to me. What do you think? Is it not thick enough? So, okay. This is my dills. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put these up there as well. And there we have some dill seeds. Okay, now normally I don't get up and run all over the place, but I'm just doing it this way because I don't want to mess you up, you know. Okay, now here are some chives. Now, like I said, the chive seeds are like really, really thin. They're like really tiny. But these coated seeds makes it a whole lot easier for us. And I'm keeping tabs with what time it is because we're going to go into a commercial break in just a minute. So you got to be really careful. And oh, and by the way, when you're working with your seeds, they don't need to get wet unless you're going to plant them. Okay. All right, there's one. Let's go ahead and get another one. I asked this guy, he's a financial guy, who's on the show one day, and I said, is it actually more important to have seeds or gold? If you had a choice between seeds and gold, what would you do? And he said, well, I'd choose the gold. And I said, yeah, I get it. You're in the business. You got to say that. Absolutely. I said, but if I had a choice and I could only have one or the other, I said, I would choose the seeds. And I really mean that. Can't eat gold. But you can plant a seed and eat off of that, right? All right, so I'm putting this dill in there. And again, there's the seed. We got it right there. Okay. Actually, that's chives. Let's go ahead and put the little thing right there. And let's go ahead and grab another rock wool. I'm so anxious. I can't wait to see what this turns out like. Okay. There we go. So there are my chive seeds. Okay. All right. Now we're going to have to go into a commercial break, and we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. So y'all hang tight, okay? The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. Begin a great year and save big money with these specials at Albertville Foodland Plus. A 5-pound bag of red or gold potatoes only $2.99 each. Warm up with Campbell's Chunky Soup, 2 for $4. Slim down with gold salads, only $2.99 each. And make sure to check out the deli with fresh veggies and tasty pork chops or hand-battered chicken fingers, only $5.99. Check us out on the web at shop.foodlandgrocery.com.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Center and Cedar Bluff, Alabama. We're cooking up some hot, delicious pizzas, and we'd like to bake one for you. We are home-owned, not a chain, and our pizzas are fresh, homemade with our dough made fresh daily. We have a full menu including fresh, never frozen wings, salad bars, suds, sandwiches, and much more. In Center, we have a private dining area for birthday parties, club meetings, and other events. We'll be waiting for you at 1820 East Bypass and Center, and in Cedar Bluff, 3812 Alabama Highway 9. For your convenience, you can call in your order at our Center location, 256-92 For Cedar Bluff, 256-557-8651. And we enjoy making your life easier. We're back. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 o'clock Central Time. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We are at the Feazell Farm right now. Yeah, 38 acres of land we have in a time. It's not a huge farm, but it's big enough for us. And so you are finding us on Donna Neal Lane. So again, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. We're in actually it's the dining room, and so we have this new system, and it's called the Hydroponic Grow Pipe. And I'll let you see earlier in the shop, show exactly what it looked like. Okay, so now what I want to do, we're going to do I'll do the herbs a little bit later. I wanted to show you a real important idea when you're planting beans. Okay, this is like super important. Okay, now beans, and we're going ahead and get started with let's do the peas. Okay, so these are going to be the purple hull. Now I'm going to do quite a few of them, okay? And let's do I'm going to do about 10 plants. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plants right there. And so there's something really important to tell you about beans. Any kind of bean, they're all the same. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is my happy place. I just like planting stuff, and I like watching it, especially when it's in this horrible, horrible winter and it's been so cold. I'm not into that. So it's just so fun to plant seeds and just kind of watch them do their thing. You know what I mean? And you watch them grow. Okay, now there's a couple of things you need to know about beans. Now normally I would have these soaked, okay, on a paper towel. You don't have to do it when you're using hydroponics. But you do have to do this. Okay, you can either use a knife. This is my paring knife. This is like my favorite one. I've had this since Brad was a baby. And he's like 43 years old. So anyway, I've had this for a long time. But as you can see, with the pea in any kind of bean, this little part right here, okay? Now I'm not talking about peeling the whole thing out. All you want to do is break that. And it just helps, it's just quicker. And it helps the bean to sprout quicker. So here we go. I kind of did that. Now another thing you can do, just use an old fingernail file. This is actually the easiest way to do it. So you got to make sure you get down into that pea or that bean, whatever you got, and just kind of file it down just a little bit. And that's just going to help it go into the growth mode. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with all of these. Then we're going to plant them. It's a little quicker to use a fingernail file. Then you can use your husband's big files, or if you're like me and you already got your own little workshop, you can use a regular file. But I just kind of like using these. And again, that's just going to help the growth of that. And you can use a knife, whatever you want to do. I'll tell you something I'd like for you to do, if you don't mind, because I love to learn anything about gardening. I'm into it. So whatever you like to do, any tips that you can send me on what you do when you grow and you have your garden every year, or if you're a first timer and you just have some questions, all you gotta do is send me an email and I'll answer every one of your questions. My email address is donna@icradio.media. That's donna@icradio.media. And I'll be glad to take your tips. This is probably the most requested shows that we do. Everybody wants to know about gardening. You know, the price of things have went up. The supply chain, oh my goodness, you don't know what you're ever going to find. And what about that price of eggs? Goodness gracious. It's incredible what the price of eggs has went up to. It's just, I'm glad we got the girls out here. We have our little girls who lay the eggs. They do a fantastic job too, by the way. And maintaining chickens, like the easiest thing you'll ever do. Now, if you are living anywhere in the United States and you're watching us, and maybe you live in an apartment complex, you may not want to have chickens. And also there are some, we still call them subdivisions here, but planned project homes. And sometimes you may have to pay homeowners fees, or maybe you don't, but it's just a subdivision and they don't want chickens in their subdivision. You need to make sure you check that out before you go into the expense of chickens. Right here on this 38-acre farm, I guess we can have all the chickens we want. Okay, now I've got all of that done. So we're going to get our rock wool cubes and let's go ahead and squeeze it out. I'm going to get a couple of these because of the beans. And you can hear the water dripping out now too. Okay, so these are our peas, and I'll go ahead and put that down in there. See, it's got to be in the little cup. And again, take care of the cups because, well, you know, you'll be able to use them again. And they're probably not that expensive. It's just that I don't want to, I'm afraid, you know, like supply and demand and all that kind of stuff, you know. Okay, so there's a bean. Oh, and another important thing too about your beans is you've kind of scrubbed that little eye. I call it an eye. I'm not sure what the technical term is, but you scrub that little eye right there. Make sure when you're planting the seed that you plant it down, okay, where that eye is, goes down. All right, let's go on ahead and let's get another one. Here we go. Oh, and I wanted to show you too, this is one I've not cut. There's a little hole that's actually put in these rock walls, okay? And see, they're kind of big. I'm not sure they're going to fit into this cup. That may be why the guy told me you need to cut these things in half. Yeah, that's probably why he said that. It doesn't fit that real. And by the way, the asthma, oh my goodness. So there we go. And there you see that little seed right in there. And I'm going to put him right there. Phil walked by and he saw me like, it's the wool. And my asthma doesn't like it too well. Make sure you keep plenty of water, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get another one. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And yes, a lot of fun. Phil said, you're welcome. I wasn't talking to him, I was talking to you. Thank you for hanging out with me and helping me plant seeds. It's a lot of fun when you're doing this with somebody, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. All right, let's go ahead and put that one in there. Again, you want to put the little eye down there. And this is kind of a new thing for me because, you know, with seeds and you're planting them in your garden and what have you, you have to kind of cover those seeds up. And we will, once it turns into a plant, we're going to put it in the block gardens. So, you know, you're used to, even when you're planting a seed, you know. So this is a little bit different for me, but I'm very anxious. I'll keep you motivated, and I'll keep you informed. I'll take some pictures, and in about another week, we'll do another video, and it won't be as long as this one. And I'll just kind of let you check out the progress on it, and we'll check and see how it's going. Yeah, my husband kind of has to look out after me because I don't know how to look out after my own self. When it comes to asthma, it's not fun. Okay. Listen to that. It's almost like water on a tin roof, you know, when it's raining outside. Our bedroom is just offset. We had this thing running last night just to make sure that the timer was going to work and everything. And so it's like I slept so good. It was so good to hear that. Okay. And again, you're saving so much money when you're using seeds like this. I mean, this is quite a money saver because, and the plants are still cheaper than buying your own, but this is just kind of cool where, you know, you're saving money because you actually started with a seed. And all of these seeds, now they have went up in price, okay, because I bought mine when I figured we were going to have some issues. You know, the toilet paper fiasco problem, you know, a couple of years ago when COVID hit. And I don't know, it just felt like the economy is just, you know, it's not taking off to a good start. So I decided I better go ahead and buy the seeds. Now I got mine last year. This big thing right here was $2.50. I don't know what it is now. I'm almost afraid to find out. If you could let me know how much the seeds are, I'd appreciate that. But now you should only buy seeds once. Because here's what you can do. Just like with the tomatoes, the tomato plants, what you'll do is save your seeds. And I'll show you again in just a few minutes, in case some of you kind of got sidetracked just a little bit, just a few minutes ago. My tomato seeds. Hardly ever buy seeds anymore, but I wanted some of these purple hulls. I didn't have any of those. And so what you'll do, you need to dry them. Now don't wash them. Okay, with your seeds, just don't wash them because that's not going to work out. Let's make sure that goes down to the bottom. So what you'll do, all right, we got all the purple hull, so I'm done with those. I'm just going to have 10 plants. Okay, now with our tomato seeds, I'll show you what I did last year. Now be careful when you're doing this that you don't get the seeds you're not going to use wet, okay, because that's going to ruin them. You'll never be able to use them again. So here we go. I'll go right here to my dry spot. Put this right here. So I actually have three different paper towels. Paper towels are your best friend when it comes to the seed world. Okay, make sure you got plenty of paper towels. And see, I just kind of let mine spread. I don't know if you can see this or not, but see how it spread? Those are my yellow, I think. Yeah, these are my yellow tomatoes. Okay, right here. Off of these seeds right here, you can have hundreds, maybe even thousands of tomatoes. Okay, I like to put 2 seeds when I'm planting the seeds. In these, they say you can use maybe 1 or 2, but I'm going to use 2 seeds just to make sure. And then what you do is you pick the healthiest one when it comes up, because you're going to have they're going to be real scraggly looking, you know. I'm going to leave mine in these pots for a good it's going to be a while before I can plant anyway. But I'm going to leave mine in as long as possible before I set them outside. So what you'll do, if you're going to plant 3 or 4 whatever seeds, make sure that you maybe pick the best one. I'm really bad at wanting to plant them all. But I'll tell you what I did last year with the tomato seeds. And this was pretty cool. So I had this big box. It was a cardboard box. And I put it full of really, really good dirt, cow manure. We got plenty of it around here. Chicken manure. That's just really good for your plants. And then also has a little white stuff. I put that in there too, and it just kind of helps hold the water in it. So what I did is I mixed this sand and dirt and manure and all this stuff up with gloves, of course, because of the manure. And then I put it in this big, it was kind of like this oblong box. And then I put one layer down. Then what I did is I just kind of, you know how you'll sprinkle pepper and salt when you're cooking stuff? So what I did is I kind of sprinkled the tomato seeds in. And I think I did the same thing. And I had 2 different boxes. So I had one that was for the yellow tomatoes, and then the Romas had another one too. So you need to keep them separated, okay? Because I promise you it's going to be confusing. So I just sprinkled a few, you know. And then it was just one of those things. Just wanted to just check it out and see if it worked, and it worked. So I started having these little tomato plants coming up. Now this is a new thing right here, but anyway, the little tomato plants started coming up, and they were healthy. So it's not like I had to actually choose, you know, and pick. And I got a heating mat, by the way. You need to have a heating mat if you're going to start your seeds too. You won't have to have the heating mat for these, but if you're going to use dirt and you want your seeds, make sure you got something that's going to keep those things warm and germinated. Now, if you have a greenhouse, we got a greenhouse out here. So if you have a greenhouse, make sure you're really careful about that as well. Okay, and make sure you keep the humidity right. And you need a humidity thermometer as well as a regular thermometer, okay, to go out into your greenhouse. Inside the house, what you need to make sure of, if you got a heating mat, that the seedlings set on that, okay? And that's extremely important. Okay, I'm going ahead, we've got just about a minute before we have to go. And I've enjoyed spending today with you, by the way. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, as well as Amazon Fire. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with you in about another week with progress. We'll do some progress reports. You guys are going to hold me to the fire. So we'll have a progress report on what happens with these seeds. So I'll go ahead and move the camera and just let you take another little look. Here are the pots. Those are the ones for the peas, the purple hulls. And as you can see right here, this is what I've been putting the seeds inside of. And there you go. I don't know if you can see this, but here's the basil, and there's the seed. Got my label right there. There are the 2 basils, there are the chives, there are the dill, there's the sage, and I've got this one going right here. Again, this is going to be all herbs. All of this is going to be like my lettuces and that kind of thing. The beans, I think I'm going to put them down here, and then tomatoes probably down in here. So it's going to be a whole lot of plants. This is basil, and I've been growing that inside. That turned out really well. As a matter of fact, this basil likes being right here by this sliding glass window. It gets really, really warm, and in the wintertime, it's a real nice place. There's some aloe that I have. And then there's some cabbage. I was telling you about that. And there's my chives. I keep those things growing all the time. I had to go on ahead. The chives got so big that I had to go ahead and do something with those. Okay, there's my doggy going off. Thank you so much for watching. And you are the absolute apple of my eye. Again, thank you so much for watching.